It won't be.
If your team got guaranteed money, tell them call me.
Whoop. Make me say, my. I done been around the world.
Yeah, I was made for this.
Player Performance with J.A. Cavalier.
We're back. Meaningful fucking basketball, finally. Yeah, Carol, hold on. Be easy. 25 minutes late. That's just how we do it here. On this day of Florida, man. No. 2 games to go through. We're going to go through both playing games, give you guys the handicap, tell you who we like, tell you why we like them. He's Graham Sheasby. He's Luke Shuey. I, of course, am J.A. Cavalier. This is Player Performance NBA. MLB Player Performance coming real soon, probably within a week. Coach Rick will be on that. There'll be a nice little turn of guys there, try to get either a 2-3-man show. But more important, meaningful fucking basketball. I got to say this, though. I'm not all that happy to see the season end on a 9-2 fucking run coming into the playoffs. So on fire. We're going to keep to look that Big Mo going. Listen, we have a lot to get to, 2 games. We're going to break them down thoroughly. I think we all have a pick in each game. We'll give them to you. Take care of you. Thanks for joining us once again. Do us a favor before we get started. Guys, we don't say this enough. Go ahead and smash the fucking like button. You're here for a reason. You're here because you like the show. Every single one of you should be absolutely hammering that like button. We are going to do a ride or die. I'm going to do a $500 ride or die today. $500 ride or die. Fuck it. Let's do it. NBA playing. I'm amped. I have 10 dimes on one play, a couple dimes spread out, game total parlay every single fucking game. I am absolutely unloaded on the card tonight. You guys know I'm getting to the window tomorrow too. My Miami Heat in business. And yes, as the Shark would say, the buy hat may be engaged. We'll see. We're going to get there. All right. NBA Player Performance play-in tournament starts now.
I live the bright lights, the type, the crowd likes. Where you at, ballers? Ladies love me and men, they wanna be me, they pay to come see me. Where you at, ballers?
Tuesday's trend upward. We got 2 games on the card, the play-in tournament. We are back, the 3-way, the dream team. Luke's in a warehouse. He's been working overnight on this card. J.A. with a fantastic hat. And let's talk ball. First game, Southeast Division, 5th matchup of the year. Hawks in Orlando, Kia Center, 7:30 p.m. Not sure if we have a prompt. If we don't, that is perfectly fine. Let's talk some ball. As I mentioned, 5th matchup of the year, data abundant. Of course, the story of the playoffs is data. But when you find division rivals, you are ripe and ready with data. I got some angles in this game. I wasn't expecting Jay to come on with a beautiful Hawks hat. Red Tuesdays, an opportunity to dominate. Jay, what's going on with the hat?
You guys already know, man. You already know I am on the everyone fucking hates Trae Young train tonight, taking the Atlanta Hawks. Trae's like that fly at a barbecue. You keep fucking swatting him away, and he just keeps coming back, dishing out dimes like Oprah, handing out fucking cars. You get a bucket. You get a bucket. You get a bucket. He has that offense flowing smoother right now than a Chick-fil-A drive-thru in Atlanta. And listen, Paulo, can you hear me? Repeat after me. Would you like fries with that? Shooting bricks like he's out here building a new Disney castle. For the love of God, someone please get these guys a fucking fast pass to the rim. Atlanta Hawks plus the 5.5. And as the song goes, I be on it all night, man. I be on it all day, straight up. Pimp, if you want me, you can find me in the...
Hey, and I believe we got a little big boy on the track here. Some great jams in Atlanta. Of course, this game is being played in Orlando. Interesting stuff developing in terms of the actual play. And, of course, Orlando last year went straight to the playoffs, lost in 7 versus Cleveland. Atlanta's been in the play in 3 straight years. Luke hasn't been with us for 3 straight years, but we're thrilled he's here now. Luke, any props in this game?
Absolutely. I'm in the warehouse, as you said. No, I'm in a coffee shop. Going old school Beats by Dre. We're rocking it. Today, this is interesting. I really, everyone expects Banchero to ball out, Wagner to ball out. They really only have those 2 guys. Of course, they're going to probably each put up 20-plus shot attempts. The Hawks don't have a lot of defense interior. It's going to be interesting how Quinn Snyder defends the Magic offense. Are they going to double Banchero? Are they going to hedge hard? Are they going to go one-on-one and force the role players to beat them? I have no idea. It's very interesting. What I actually like is just overs in general. Last year in the playoffs, you saw in the Magic, every single game pretty much went under. There was times where they didn't score for 3+ minutes, but this is different. These Magic young guys want to score. They're less defensive oriented. And of course, Atlanta is offense. So I lean overs. I lean overs on most players in this game. I'm just going to go. We have a lot of VIP picks, and the guys pay pretty penny for them. But a free lean here is Georges Niang, role player for the Hawks, over 7.5 points. All it takes is for him to hit 2 or 3 threes, which he's going to get in this game in his 20-minute off it. He should get 20 minutes in this game. I see no reason he doesn't clear 7.5 points as a guy that Trae Young can dish it to when he's getting doubled. So Niang over 7.5 as a quick lean.
Yeah, I have one free play in this game. It is a player prop. It is a very specific angle I've not bet on this show, so we're thrilled for this one. Paolo Banchero to get a double-double. And I see you guys in the chat, a bunch of people in the chat talking about Paolo Banchero. Chad says Banchero hit 30 in the last 3 against Atlanta. A couple other people talking about this guy. I dropped a free play on Instagram earlier, and I said this guy is an ox. And that was not a pre-written thing. It just came to my mind when I was talking about this dude. 6'10", 250. I mean, you talk about an absolute specimen. And we talked about this last week. His dad played college football. His mom is the leading scorer of Washington Huskies history. Incredible prototype. He dominates Atlanta. I'm not entirely sure if he goes nuts for 35+ tonight. I could see him kind of distributing and Atlanta really keying on him because he is their principal player. But I think a double-double is pretty much a mortal lock tonight. In terms of the actual game here, in terms of the history of the matchup, I just wanted to discuss it very, very briefly because I think there is an angle for JA's side here. Obviously, Jay talking about the Heat playing tomorrow night. Well, 2 years ago, April 11, 2023, Atlanta actually did play a play-in tournament game at Miami. Key point there, in the division, same number too, +5.5. And Atlanta did win that game, 116-105. Jay, you probably remember that loss a couple of years ago, right?
Of course, I remember the loss. But, what people don't understand is I don't give a shit if Atlanta wins the game or not. I don't give a fuck. I'm getting 5.5 against a team that doesn't score points. That 5.5 is more like catching 10 against most other NBA teams. 5.5 is a huge number when you're talking about the Orlando Magic, who don't put up a lot of points. The problem is going to be, they have an issue with stopping baskets at the rim for some reason. And what we all know what Atlanta's defense, problem is teams that shoot the 3, right? Well, Orlando doesn't shoot the fucking 3. So I don't give a shit, right? And I don't care. I don't need the Magic. I don't need the Hawks to win this game tonight. I just need them to keep it close. And you know what? There's always going to be that back door open. 5.5 is just way too much. If you look at this Orlando squad, it's not the same squad from last year. It's not the same squad that kept it close against Cleveland. This is a completely different team. I don't know if Suggs really meant that much. KCP also not really fitting in the way they thought he would fit in. Listen, Hawks tonight +5.5. And, people talk about playoff Jimmy, which we'll get to in a little while, right? But people seem to forget that little playoff Trae. Trae seems to step it up into another gear when it comes playoffs. And as much as I dislike Trae Young, you know what? You do have to recognize what this kid's been able to do and accomplish come playoff time. They're just not a team that gets blown out. And we all know the Atlanta Hawks against good teams have a way of stepping it up and sneaking inside the number.
Yeah, and as we said, we have a lot of information with this Hawks team. You guys remember, go back about 4 years, the Hawks actually went to the Eastern Conference Finals in a really young window for Trae Young. But since then, they've been in the play-in tournament every single year. They just kind of do this every regular season. They hover right in the back end, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you have a lot of information here. And Atlanta is actually 3-1 straight up at ATS in the play-in tournament since 2022. I would venture to say they probably have the most games of any team in the league in the play-in tournament in this window. I actually have Orlando to win this game by 3 points on the number, totally aligning with what Jay said. Atlanta cover, Orlando victory. This is the playoffs, guys. These are going to be tight games. You're going to be entertained to the wire tonight. We think this is going to be a plus 5.5 thing. Luke, just 1 point on this. I was looking at Onyeka Okongwu in some props. I know we talked about this before. Not a lot of bigs in this game, true bigs. Banchero obviously 6'10", but not Hakeem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing type at all. And then you look at the Hawks without Clint Capella. Just give us a couple of thoughts on Okongwu, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. I think there's value in this game in the rebounding category for both sides. Someone's going to have to grab the misses here. There's going to be a bunch of misses with the amount of shots going up. Okongwu's got to be that guy. I also think you could capitalize on his points because if you think about the defense, the Magic are going to try and stop Trae Young. Like, if it's a double, whatever it is, Trae's actually been unselfish. You may not think it because he'll shoot a half-court shot, but he does it better than anyone else in the pick and roll at finding the open guy. I mean, he led the NBA in assists for most of the season. He is going to find the open guy, and they're not going to guard Okongwu. I guarantee he has at least 5 easy layups. I like Okongwu in the points category, rebounds, or combine it. This is a play I really do like, Shark. I think we align on this. Give me Onyeka all night tonight. I think he capitalizes on his opportunity.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And obviously, as I said, we have so much information in terms of the play-in tournament and the playoffs with the Hawks. Just go back in recent history in terms of the way. Where are we getting that noise from? What is that?
Are we getting like a Viking?
At the studios, we have people redoing the roof. It sounds like a fucking whale mating.
I didn't know if somebody was in the coffee shop, like having sex in the bathroom behind Luke here.
Jay, I thought that was your new like soundboard. You're like you hated my text. You're like,
no, we're gonna break that out when the actual playoffs start. It's Birdsey in the back. He's getting excited.
That's what we'll play when inevitably the Knicks somehow bow out in the second round in like game 6 or 7. But just one final point on this before we go to the second game.
No, Stanley. I'm not regretting shit. I love the Hawks in this spot tonight. I've already gotten to the window with it. Ticket already stamped in pocket. I'm on the Hawks plus the 5.5. And Kennedy, no, it's not Burnsy using a vibrator.
You guys actually think Jay is wearing that hat just because he likes the colors and the team?
No, I can't stand the fucking Atlanta Hawks. Even Burnsy was like, "You sure you want to put this on?"
That's what I'm saying. If you're wearing the hat, that is business. That is not something peripheral.
That's right. Standing on it, chest out, hat on. Let's go.
Final point on this, in terms of Trae Young in the playoffs, he likes to distribute. He's not as much ball heavy. He's probably not going to drop 40 tonight. He's going to try to get people involved. And on that Okongwu point, of course, Clint Capella is hurt. The last 2 play-in games for the Hawks, Capella had 21 rebounds in the game at Miami 2 years ago. And last year, the game at Chicago, Capella had 22 and 17. So this is going to be a big-time game for Okongwu and the boys. And a big conversation. 13 minutes, going to the second game. 10 o'clock in San Francisco. Grizzlies, Warriors, matchup 5. This game is going to be fascinating. Warriors laying 7 points, getting some market steam, total hovering around 227.5. I'm surprised the Warriors are here. The Warriors lost an egregious basketball game last week to the Spurs, and then they came back and lost in overtime to the Clippers to close their season. A lot of moving parts in this game. I got some comments. I do have the hat on. This is slightly more casual. I just think the Warriors probably get the dub tonight. But, Jay, we got 2 hats, 1 game to discuss. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I'm fading you on that, by the way. But first off, Kennedy, that's actually not even a bad look, and I liked it a lot, actually, at plus 425. I may actually sprinkle a little bit there with an Orlando outright win and the Atlanta Hawks plus the 5.5. I could definitely see that absolute cash in. I had Mexican last night, though. She was good. All right, so as far as this game goes, this feels like it's like the next episode of Grit, Grind, and Grenades, right? So what's the over-under for tees and fines tonight? I get it. The NBA doesn't actually love it. 75,000 for finger guns, but the fans, we're eating it up, turning basketball games into Call of Duty, draining threes, dodging fines, like it's all part of a fucking mission. If he dunks on Draymond tonight, does he actually get a bonus life? Look, I just think 7.5 tonight is too fat. Younger, more athletic, and deeper team. More important, everyone's ruled them out, right? Everyone's on the Warriors in this spot, but they forget Steph's thumb is wrapped. Jimmy's knees are bruised. Grizzlies are catching 7.5. Just when you think they're done, they're buried. I think they show up. And 7.5 is just too many fucking points. I have to take the points.
Yeah, as I said, this is not an official play hat at all. I just think the Warriors are a representative team, to say the least, from the last 15 years. But, Luke, we're still trying to figure out what that noise is. I hope the coffee shop is pretty clean in the background. But
no. I told you guys, they're working on the roof.
Me.
They're redoing the roof. It's here. But they actually...
At least we now know that's what Bernsey sounds like, a whale when he's mating. So, we got that. Props.
Bernsey said you forgot to add sexy whale.
Good point. So props in this game. I see a couple different angles. Of course, there's the angle for playoff Jimmy. I'm not the guy to really just go after, the star player on his points prop in a big time game, but sometimes you have to. I would lean Butler's over tonight because the books are telling you to. He averaged 17.5 points this season. Even worse when he was in Miami. And his line tonight was 22.5 last time I checked. I mean, books expect him to shoot a lot more than he typically does. And he's done that his whole career in the playoffs. Everybody knows playoff Jimmy absolutely dominated several times in his career, especially in Miami against guys like my Bucks. My Bucks have gotten absolutely slaughtered by playoff Jimmy before. So I know him better than anyone. Back Jimmy Butler tonight if you're going to. And then I actually, on kind of JA's point, I like the Grizzly prop points over tonight. Jalen Wells is out. We know they're not going to play a lot of defense. This game should be higher scoring, despite it being kind of a big Game 7 atmosphere. I expect Ja Morant to shoot nonstop. I don't see why he doesn't put up 25 to 30 shots. So I like his overs. I like playoff Jimmy's overs. I'll leave it there because I have a max bet in this game for VIP clients, and I don't want to give that away on the air because it is a solid look.
Yeah, this game I think is really difficult to handicap. I think you're going to hover right around 7 points. We say this every day. Not every game is an absolute banger against the spread. I think you're going to see this game really be tight on the number tonight. I do think the Warriors come away with a victory. Again, probably inside of 7 points. So Jay making the comments, the chat making the comments. I think +7 is probably the side with Memphis. And just a little more elaboration on this. We do have a reasonable sample with Memphis in the play-in tournament. Of course, this is going back pre-COVID, actually, very young Ja Morant group. Actually, before they drafted Triple J and Desmond Bane, it was Dylan Brooks and Ja Morant. But the last 3 times Memphis has played in the play-in tournament, they lost by 4 points in the Orlando bubble, actually on August 15, 2020, to the Damian Lillard, Carmelo Anthony Portland Trailblazers. Talk about a time warp there, only 5 years ago, roughly. And then they beat San Antonio that same year or slightly thereafter by 4. And I think real key point here, Memphis did play at Golden State in the play-in tournament in 2021. That was the year before the Warriors won the title. Crazy to think about the volatility of this Warriors team having been down, then up, and back down over the past 4 or 5 years. But Memphis did beat Golden State on May 21st, 2021 in the play-in tournament. In overtime, 117 to 112. So the moral of the story is Memphis has 3 play-in games in the Ja Morant era. All 3 finished inside of 5 points. I think this game's going to be tight. I think the Warriors probably get the W, and this really is a tough game to handicap. This will be the format as we go into the playoffs. Obviously, not a ton of games. We have best bets and probably some Q&A. Bernsey?
Yeah, but first, no. First, hold on. Shuck, what's your take on a teaser? I can see both the Magic and Warriors actually winning both games, right? So I can see a little money line parlay there, right? But then I can see a nice little 2-team teaser. And I'm not a big advocate of teasers. As you guys know, I'm also not an advocate of parlays. I don't like to get too exotic, except when it comes to women. However, with this game tonight and a playoff-style atmosphere and 2 teams playing against two polar opposite teams because both the Hawks and the Memphis Grizzlies are going to look to turn it up in pace, right? And you have both the Warriors and the Magic trying to slow it down in pace and playing more of a half-court offense. Typically, the faster paced teams win that battle. And I don't mean win that battle, win the game. I mean, they tend to speed up the other team because it's hard to slow a team down when they're playing fast, right? It's almost impossible. So what they end up doing is they end up stepping on it a little bit more as well. So then you have two teams playing faster. And you've seen it already with the Orlando Magic throughout the entire season. Whenever they're playing a fast-paced team, they tend to pick up the pace as well. And they do typically end up scoring more points. However, it typically ends up being one of those games where their shooting just goes to complete shit. They've had trouble throughout the season with fast-paced teams, more notably the Utah fucking Jazz. They couldn't hit their team total in that game. And I mean, for God's sakes, you walk into Utah and you're spotted 110 points. So in a spot like this, liking the Hawks plus the 5.5 and liking the Grizzlies plus the 7.5, in some markets you can catch a 6-point tease. And I don't think that's a bad look at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. I mean, as you said, we never tease basketball.
No, never, ever. I never. Yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think it's probably
to do it. No.
Yeah, it's probably about the same price as a money line parlay, right?
I would assume that the 2-team 6-point tees would probably cost you in the neighborhood of 140.
Okay, because I think a money line parlay here between a minus 210 and a minus 330 is probably right around even money, if not like 125 or something like that.
No, you're probably paying 115 to 120, 116 maybe on that. And that's not a terrible look because I mean the Warriors are in the 3 range, right? Closer to 350, and then you have the Magic who are probably around 220.
Yeah, minus 330 on FanDuel and minus 210 Magic on FanDuel.
Okay, so a little bit less. Yeah.
Yeah, so effectively it's the same idea. I actually considered that. I honestly was just a little worried that the Hawks could actually get the W. As I said, the Hawks in the last 2 years, we actually didn't mention it when we were talking about the game in any detail, but last year they lost by margin in the play-in tournament at Chicago. But key point, outside of the division, they did get division rival at this same number, plus 5.5 Miami 2 years ago. So obviously, current Magic and the Heat from 2 years ago is not the same team, but it is a division rival as an underdog at this spot. They did perform well. And as I said, I think the Hawks have more experience in the play-in tournament than any other team, crazily enough. So I think they could pull it out. That's why I didn't get there on that. But
no, listen, I'm not arguing with that, and I'm not on either of that either. Tonight, like I said, so tonight I have the game total parlay for both. So a same game parlay in both games tonight. Obviously, the first leg of both games are the two dogs. So I have the Hawks in the same game parlay with the total, and then I have the Grizzlies in the same game parlay also with the total. But those totals are actually bigger than the games themselves for me tonight. But those are for members. Also, I have one play that I've already gotten to the window with 10 dimes ticket already in pocket. Is my biggest play of the night. NBA Elite members, you guys will all be getting that. I do have a special that I'm running there, and I'll drop that in the Telegram channel. I know you guys also have specials. Maybe we'll talk about doing a nice little player performance NBA season special where they can get all 3 of our plays in just one channel for the entire NBA playoffs. That'd be a pretty cool package, I think, for these guys to pick up. Just combining all 3. So no, I was just curious because they're talking about parlays, and you guys know that whenever we do this show, the parlay, the parlay, the DGen parlays come out. We got 6-7 leg parlays, guys trying to hit lottery tickets in the chat. And Luke, I did want to ask you this one question: Orlando Magic, since they're pretty much guardless, right? And they're pretty loose with the ball, right? Any Dyson Daniel props, steal props?
You can. I mean, it's been a thing all season. Like, you're not going to go wrong by taking his over. He averaged pretty much 3 steals the whole year. If you guys haven't seen it, it's top 10 in NBA history. Like, the guy's wild. So, yeah, I mean, take the over. The Orlando's going to be forcing it. They're young guys. Their stars are going to try and force it in certain spots. I love it. I love Daniels over steals. Absolutely. I think one other point I didn't bring up in this game is Banchero. I saw on a couple different sports books, they actually are selling his line down, so you can buy his line at like 26.5. I would keep an eye out. That's not a good sign. Usually when books do that, that means they don't think Banchero is going to put up 35 plus. They actually see him being more in the 25 to 30 window. So just a heads up on that if you guys are looking that way. And lastly, Jay said the word parlay. We don't love parlays, but on this show, we do them for fun. And last time
we're going to build one out. We're going to build one out. We are going to build one out. We're going to build out our DGen parlay.
We have to, because last time we were on the air, Shark and I.
Yeah, you guys smashed it. You guys absolutely smashed it. I should have just shut the fuck up. I popped in only to give you guys a loser. Anyway, no, actually, I went 1-1. I gave you guys the Pacers first quarter, Pacers first half. They covered the first quarter with a fucking heat from half court, and then of course ended up losing the first half. But let's roll into that. Let's roll into best bets right now. Yeah, Bearcat, I own my shit. You guys know that. You guys know that, we post our wins. We celebrate our wins and we address our losses, and then we move the fuck on. It's okay. 92 NBA run. I'm not complaining, and I'm about to smash the card tonight. And I told you guys weeks ago, this is where the NBA really starts to get good. This is my favorite time of year. MLB, now we have a couple series behind each team, so now that starts to play true. The NBA, you're going to get no truer form of basketball than NBA playoff basketball. That's a fact. You're going to get every player, every team, every minute of every game 100% balls to the wall. You know what I'm saying? Playing their best basketball. And that's why typically, you see lower scoring games, and you've already seen lower totals posted for what tonight's projected totals would have been during the course of the regular season in, say, a meaningless Memphis Golden State game. But anyway, Luke, what's the best way to get to the window tonight?
I got to give it to you guys. It's the second game. I don't have a say in the game. I know Jay is on Grizzlies. I am going Ja Morant over 26.5 points. Line functionality has it. And then the one piece I saved for this best bet window, Morant. Last time he was in the playoffs, 2022. He faced the Warriors 3 games. What did he do? 34 points, 47 points. Morant's going for 30 plus tonight. Lock in 26.5 over. Book it.
Do that loud. I just want everybody in that little fucking mall right there to look at you like you're out of your fucking skull.
You're gonna make
Come
me
on,
do
one more.
coffee shop.
Go ahead. I want to see you get kicked out of the coffee shop. I'll give you $1,000 bonus right now on your next check if you just fucking scream it loud one time.
Take off my shirt and yell.
Let's go. Just scream it loud one time. Let's go, Luke.
Book it.
Oh,
I can't do more.
Pussy. All right, Shark, what's the best bet for tonight?
Best free play for the show, Paolo Banchero to get a double-double at plus 115. And some people were wondering about the final score result. I guess we could talk about that if we do some Q&A. But take Paolo to get a double-double. As Luke was saying, we're not projecting him to have one of these wild scoring games. He's going to score the ball in the 20s, but I think he's going to be on the glass and distributing more too. Crazily enough, he hasn't had a triple-double all year, but he is plus 1,800 get a triple-double. I could actually see him getting somewhere in the range of like 27, 11, and 10 or something like that. So keep that in mind if you guys want to just mess around with like a real small play. Paolo might get a triple-double in addition to a double-double.
And you guys already know for me it's going to be the Atlanta Hawks plus the 5.5. That's my best bet. I do have a 2-9 ticket already in pocket on that, so you guys know I already got to the window with it. Let's go to Q&A, and we'll give out a parlay in the Q&A.
Practice? We're talking about practice, man.
We're talking about practice, man. All right, you guys got questions, we got answers. And then also towards the end of this, what we'll do is we'll do the ride or die for you guys. Like I said, $500 ride or die. But what you guys can start doing right now is you see there's the best bets, right? So Bernsey posted the best bets. It's Ja Morant over 26.5 points, Banchero double-double, or the Hawks plus 5.5. You guys start voting on that right now. Start voting on that right now. Start voting on that right now. Whichever one you guys pick is what will make the ride or die. All right. Questions for tonight. Post one up there, Burnsy. Luke.
This is an interesting one. I've not looked at his 3-point line. I would not go under. I would go over. So I'm not trying to say I'd fade you, Flacco, but look at his stats. I mean, he's averaging 4 attempts per game over the last 8 games. He's averaging over 1 make per game during that stretch. So I don't see the under having value, particularly for an Orlando Magic team that they're good at defense, but they're gonna force the ball out of Trae Young's hands. As I said earlier, Okongwu's gonna find himself with the ball a lot. He's gonna shoot at least 3 threes tonight. I'm not gonna fade that. I'm going over, if anything.
All right. I love JA too. Hold on. Does Trae cover his assists?
I can comment on that again. So I was saying that he has been unselfish all year earlier. He leads the NBA in assists, 11.6 per game. So I was saying to take his under on points. So that would be fade Trae Young in the points category. I didn't even get to his assist line. It's currently sitting at, it depends on the book, 9.5 or 10.5. It's a stay away for me. I have it sharp right on at 10 assists. So if anything, the play is to take his under points, which I think is 26.5.
All right. What do you guys think about that? Trae over PRA?
He's another one I think could be reaching a triple-double tonight. I think he's not going to be scoring the ball in bulk. And again, I think that's also just the playoffs. I think these teams know. We talked about this.
Wait. I do have to ask this. So you're saying Trae's going to hit 10 boards?
I think
he has about as much shot of hitting 10 rebounds as Curry does.
Well, that's a mortal lot.
No, I would say a double-double. I would say double-double. I would say double-double. I would say it's a double-double. I do like his assists.
All we need is Luke to bet Curry under rebounds tonight, and he'll get 15.
That's true.
Never again in my life.
Young under 10.5 assists. I say no. I mean, the Atlanta Hawks have been at their best when he's dishing them out. So I would say no. I mean, it's not a look that I would.
Yeah. I'd say over, if anything. If that's, I don't know if that's what you're getting to, but yeah.
Just for the record, Jay, just for the record for you guys in the chat, obviously getting a triple-double is incredibly difficult. The last time we really had a detailed conversation about players getting triple-double.
Well, it depends on who you are, right? It depends on the player, and it depends on the position and the size of the player, and that's where, yes, guys, size does matter. For a guy like Joker, it's routine. For a guy like, Trae, it's really difficult because you know what? You don't want him amongst the bigs grabbing boards. You know what I'm saying? You don't want him banging with the bigs.
To comment on this, I think this is important to look. I looked it up. Trae has not had double-digit rebounds in one game this season. He got up to 8 a few times, but never 10.
Yeah, and obviously that's a bit of a reach. But what I was going to say, because we obviously said we think Paolo Banchero might get his first triple-double of the season. Just to give you guys the point of reference in terms of our credential on this, the last time we really gave you some sort of authoritative remark on a guy getting a triple-double who had not had a triple-double this year, it was when we said Denny Avdia could very highly likely have a triple-double in a game, and he did. So Denny Avdia is very similar to Banchero from that standpoint.
You just like bringing up Denny Avdia. I don't know what it is. You got some bromance going on with Denny. I don't know what it is. Don't you guys know that white men can't jump? Wasn't he in that movie? Oh, no, that was Jack Harlow. Or isn't that the same guy? That's like his Goffelbanger. Let's see. How do you feel about Grizzlies team total over 111.5? I mean, they have hit it all 4 games this year. But again, this is the playoffs, man. Like, this is the playoffs. It's going to be a different style of basketball. I would say personally, and then Shark, you could chime in. I would say you might personally want to hit that live just to get an idea of the flow of the game, right? Like, so that would be something that I would do more so live. Or if you have a real good indication that your belief is Grizzlies are going to hit that team total, what you could do with that is you could always come out, play the over 111.5, right? And then you can start to buy some back and look for a middle if they do come out to a fast start. The one thing about Memphis, and they've traditionally done in the Ja era, is they've gotten out really fast in the first quarter. And the one thing about the Golden State Warriors is they typically start slower. So a Grizzlies first quarter look may be in play here as well. That's not an ugly look. I mean, I could definitely play look towards that. Sorry, I slipped on that, Bernsey. So I mean, you could either play it at the 111.5 at tip, right? And then look to hit a middle if they get out fast. At some point, you would think that the game's going to slow down and tighten up defensively. It really depends on how tight the game is and if it's more of a Memphis or Golden State style of basketball game. My issue with people asking about the Curry is I've seen Curry now play 2 games where I've seen him with hand injuries. One, he scored like fucking 40, and the other, he scored like 12. So, it's kind of hit and miss. Hand injuries for a shooter, it's really difficult to call. It's actually one of the reasons why I'm why I'm on Memphis in this spot is, I think Golden State's gonna struggle in this game, struggle to put the ball in the hole.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of detail here, and we always talk about these numbers and what they're suggesting. And it's what Jay has said. This is the playoffs. It's not the regular season. You're going to see a totally different level of intensity here, and the pace is going to be a lot slower. Not only that, the officials are going to call the game differently. This is going to be a lot more contact allowed in this game, and you're going to see this as we go forward in the playoffs. And we never really want to give you guys like a blanket thing to do and just say just do this for the rest of the playoffs. I really believe if you bet the unders in every game for the playoffs, you show profit. It's really a huge. Well,
that's been like in the first round. That's been like a steady thing. Yes,
yeah,
yes. And, just blindly tailing unders in the first round. But we're in the play-in era. I don't know if it holds true. I mean, Shark, maybe you have more information on that. But yes, the first round of the playoffs. Heavy lean towards all unders, all games. Doesn't matter the players, doesn't matter the style of play. In the first round of the playoffs, you absolutely want to just fucking blindly fade the under. I don't know if it holds true in the play-in. Does it, Shark?
I think it does. And I think if you go through these games that Memphis has played in the play, and of course you have to go back a couple of years, but that game Memphis won in Golden State, it was 117-112 Memphis, but the key point in overtime. So that game was played both teams under 110 points in regulation. And actually, if you go through the playoffs, the year the Warriors won the title, I think this might be even more applicable here. They played Memphis in the second round within the West, the conference semifinals. 3 games at Golden State. Memphis only scored 112, then 98, then 96. So the Warriors can really clamp down here. And this is, to be perfectly honest, an even better defensive team than you've seen in recent history with the Warriors with Jimmy Butler on the team. And as you mentioned, in the regular season this year, Memphis had 118, 144, 113, and 125. And the line is shorter than that at 111. So just a key point, it's not just this game. It's how you handicap. When you see all overs, and the line is lower, books are telling you a different game is coming. They're not giving you free money on the over there.
And I will say this, though, I know I keep joking about like size matters, right? But, there really is a true size advantage for Memphis in this game. You have 2 7-footers and two good 7-footers, right? So you're still going to have to battle with Edie. You're still going to have to battle with Triple J. So I don't really know if I like this matchup for Golden State. I think during the regular season, it could have been one of those situations to where, Memphis may have just been going through the motions down the stretch. I mean, it's easy for young teams to do that, especially in this new era of basketball. So, I mean, I actually, I really do believe the Grizzlies can win this game outright, as I do with the Hawks too. I believe both of these teams can win outright. So, styles make fights, right? And this game is going to tip or tilt to whoever style is playing out. So if it becomes more of a Memphis basketball game, it's going to be up tempo, and then you're going to have to rely on guys to hit shots from outside. Which, listen, you know what? Nobody gives up more threes than Memphis does. So, you know, that's not terrible luck to go over in a game like that. But playoff style basketball, you know, defense, and we haven't seen Triple J really play that true defensive style Triple J game. Don't forget, this guy was leading the boards for Defensive Player of the Year at one point. You know, he was up at the top. He was the odds-on favorite. Everybody was talking about how he was a better defensive player than Bam won, which I told them, of course, it's ludicrous. But they did say it for most of this first part of the season, right? That Triple J was the front runner for defensive player of the game, for the defensive player of the year, and then all of a sudden he just kind of faded as all of this Ja Morant shit started to stir up. But I do think that this is going to be a dangerous fucking squad. Any other props you guys want to know about? What about Bane points, Luke?
Yeah, first off, I like what you're saying. I couldn't agree more with Shark's comment on the unders in general. It's something I do almost every year, and it works. It simply works more times than not. And Jay's point about JJJ is also spot on. He's going to play aggressive tonight. I don't care what anyone thinks during the regular season. This Grizzlies team does have some dog in them after the firing of their coach. There's no Dylan Brooks on this roster, but they're still going to get after it tonight. I firmly believe that. Bane is not my prop guy tonight, though. The books are showing an under on his total. It's at 18.5. Everyone else on the Grizzlies is pretty much over in the starting lineup. His I just don't love. It would take a pretty hot shooting night from three for him to get there. And so I think Ja has the ball all game long. Whether he's hot or cold, I don't know. You just know that he's going to control this game on offense. So I would not get to Bane as over on that line.
Yeah, Chris, that's facts. Evan doesn't get enough credit when it comes to defense, but they're not playing tonight. And more so, you know, the problem with Evan Mobley is he plays on a team that's just fucking loaded. All five starters are like star caliber or fringe star caliber style players. So it's very difficult to get awards on a team like that, right? It's very difficult to stand out on a team like that. Give us one more question, and then we're going to get on up out of here, or actually we'll build out a parlay and then we'll get up out of here and give you guys the ride or die. Pippen Jr., my guy.
This one I'll comment on. I could get behind this. I want to pull up his stats just to show you guys. He's just been hot. Like, even when Ja returned from injury, Scottie Pippen has been playing efficient offense. Since April 1st, he's putting up 13 points per game. Similarly, in March, he was at 12 plus points per game, and it's efficient shooting. I mean, he's shooting 56% from three over the last 7 games. So I would lean over here. Absolutely. I think his line's like 9.5 maybe. So I think it's a good look, Matt. I could get there with you.
And yeah, I do think Edie can snag his boards. I mean, he's going to fucking eat against, who's he? Post and Draymond. I mean, the size disadvantage in this matchup, I mean, the Grizzlies really should eat on the boards. So I would say, Edie or Triple J. Am I out of my mind? Should I shut up, Luke, or do you agree?
No, I like this matchup. Without getting too far into my VIP card, Edie's boards is not a bad look, because want to know something crazy, Jay? I bet you wouldn't know this, because I didn't know this till this morning. Edie is averaging 16 rebounds per game over the last 6 games. That's absurd. I mean, that's the tops in the NBA by a mile. So that should continue if he gets enough tick tonight. It's just, is he going to get enough playing time? Memphis can't really shrink and play small ball because they don't have Jalen Wells anymore. Like, Luke Kennard's playing like shit. I don't see them going small. So I do think Edie is a good look tonight.
No, he's been getting minutes, and you know, he's out there looking like fucking Herman Munster, just bigger than everybody else on the fucking court, right? Like that goon just grabbing, snatching boards out of the air. I like Edie. I do like his rebounds tonight. I think he'll be able to eat on the boards. They should have a pretty clear path. I mean, you know, Draymond does more shit talking than anything else these days. All right, listen, we're gonna make the ride or die. Let's ride with fucking Luke. We'll just ride or die with Luke. Give me that ride or die. But you got to give me a bucket, Luke. First, give me the ride or die,
play the clip,
and then I'm gonna get the bucket.
Ride or die, remember?
There's a $500 ride or die, Luke. If you need any more motivation than that, my man, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you. One time for the crowd, for those in the fucking chat, the ride or die guys who stay with it. Come on, Luke, stand up, say it with your fucking chest. One time, the show's almost over. If you get kicked out, who the fuck cares? Let's go. Say it.
Someone in this chat is winning $500 tonight because of Ja Morant's over. And you know what I have to say about that? Okay.
No. Why are you saying it like a puss, man? Say it with your chest.
I don't know if you want to see how many people are behind me, but that was.
I don't give a fuck. I want them to look at you like you're out of your skull. I mean, you're in Wisconsin. It's not the first time that somebody did something weird in a fucking food court in Wisconsin. Holy shit. Let's go.
I love it. Playoff energy, baby.
Except for Luke over there. I don't know, guys. Are we behind that? All right, listen. All right, so there it is. $500, ride or die. Tomorrow, you know what? We'll have you guys shoot out some sort of comment or some sort of code, and we'll announce a winner live in the chat tomorrow. You know, so that's going to be the ride or die. You guys want to build out a parlay? Well, my parlay is obviously going to start with the Atlanta Hawks. It's going to finish with the not the OKC Thunder. Although OKC Thunder are just taking the fucking sweep. I don't care what they're laying in the first game. Lay it. Tonight, Memphis plus the 7.5. Atlanta Hawks plus 5.5. There you go. The two first legs of the parlay. Luke, give me 2 legs. Obviously, you're going to go with Ja. And what's the second leg?
Too funny. Yeah, you can't hear me. I will go a lot louder next time we're on the air. Sorry, guys.
I
gave it a good effort. Yeah. So we'll go Ja.
Your vagina hurts. I get it.
We'll go Ja over 26.5. I'm going to go with Okongwu over here in the rebounds line. I just want to make sure I get the most accurate line for you guys.
You guys know we're going to do this like every fucking show, and yet you're never prepared.
Well, so I am prepared, but I don't want to give the people. I don't want to give the people the same plays we just talked about on the show. That's no fun. So it's Okongwu over 10.5 rebounds.
Okay, there you go. Shark, what you got for us?
All right. Do we want to put a money line in if it conflicts with the underdog? ATS.
Sure. I don't care.
Well, it's sort of
that would be conflicting quite a
bit. Well,
bit.
it's obviously Golden State or obviously Orlando. So which of the two is it? Just
how many do we have so far? We have 4 so far.
We have 4. We're just waiting for your 2.
Let's do Wendell Carter Jr. over rebounds. I see 9.5. I think you can probably get 8.5 though. And let's roll with Luke. You said Okongwu over rebounds.
I did. Yes, I did.
Let's go with I don't know. I'm unprepared, J.A. Unbelievable.
What's that?
I said I'm unprepared for the back end of a parlay leg.
Like, what the fuck? Isn't it standard practice these days to build out a 6-leg parlay?
It's tough with 2 games. It's tough with 2 games when we have such minimal angles here. Okay, total. We have a good total here, maybe. No. You know, I think the under in the Dubs game is probably the right side at 228.
I'm not mad at that.
I was hoping you'd take that. So love it.
Let's go with that.
All right, so there it is. Burns, you got that?
228.
229 is what I saw on Hard Rock earlier. But guys, whatever the best available line is, we'll just put it up at 229. But whatever your best available line is. Remember, this is like a lottery fucking ticket. We're not expecting it to hit, but it's nice when it does. You know what I mean?
We hit the last one and the 3 previous.
I know
ones.
You guys did. I guess you guys did. You guys
and
did
the
great.
the 3 previous ones lost in the most ridiculous, excruciating fashion too. So we're like right on it. We're right on it. I mean, every one of these is like a banger straight up.
I'm trying to read that. Hold on, and then you just moved it from my screen. Carter Jr. over 9.5 boards, and then Golden State, Memphis under 229. That's a nice little 6-leg parlay for you guys. So it's the Atlanta Hawks plus 5.5, the Memphis Grizzlies plus 7.5. We have Ja, that's not to be confused with J.A., over 26.5 points, and Okonwu over 10.5 rebounds. Wendell Carter Jr. over 9.5 boards, and then Golden State, Memphis under 229. Nice little 6-leg parlay. All right, I think that we've handled everything, right? We got to everything today. All right, Luke, any closing words?
Just that it's playoffs, baby. It's high energy. I'm excited for tonight. Appreciate you guys. Don't forget to hit the like button. Comments are always appreciated. You guys have been lovely in the chat. Tell a friend to watch us. We're doing this all playoffs long. Well, I guess I shouldn't misquote. We're doing this at least for the first round or two. We love you guys. Just keep on keeping on, and let's print more tickets.
No, we're doing it all playoff long, all playoffs long. We'll do it straight through the finals, and we'll also kick in the MLB as soon as we figure out the details of that show. Coach will also be on that show, so we have a good little crew set up for that. Nice little rotation of guys. And yeah, guys, appreciation is always appreciated, so please go ahead, smash that like button. And of course, we appreciate you guys the most for being here, joining us, spending your time with us. Guys, love seeing it. Shark, your final thoughts?
Yeah, no, it's an exciting time of year. It really is. This is where you get the best basketball, the highest level of competition. It's great to handicap when these guys are not sitting out and not giving halfway efforts. We got 2 more tomorrow. We got the Heat at the Bulls. Jay is going to be live and ready for that. And we got Mavs King. So I appreciate you guys every day for hanging out with us, dominating, and enjoying the high energy of this show. We appreciate you guys. I'll never stop saying that. Have a beautiful day. Tuesdays, trend upward. Let's dominate.
And we're going to get these guys out to you guys. That's right. The whylose.com. The Whylose on the side. New Era. So you know they're official. Of course, official. They are snapbacks because I'm not going to sit here and order 90 different fucking hat sizes. Even though I typically only wear fitteds. That's just a me thing. But you know what? Some dope New Era hats. Whylose. Going out to you guys, of course. Always looking out for our people. Again, guys, I can't reiterate enough, how much we appreciate you guys. The only reason why we do this live is really for those of us who spend the time with us in the channel. We could do this quick, fast, record it, get it out there and go about our day. But we really do love shooting the shit with you guys and all the questions from the comments. Good days, bad days. A lot of times you guys help us through those bad days. To see you guys, showing support even after a couple of L's. And you guys know I definitely needed it after this NBA season. I stand on that. Worst NBA season I've had in 10 years. Only losing NBA season I've had in 10 years. But playoffs is another season. I told you there's 3 different seasons when it comes to the NBA. And the playoffs is its own season entirely. 2 months of just straight winning, and we're heading into the playoffs right now, 9-2. So we're getting ready to fucking roll. Yeah, Chris, you don't have to worry about that. I'll send you the hat anyway. Shoot us an email. We'll get your info. The regulars. What I'll do is on tomorrow's show, we'll do some sort of hat thing where we'll give out like 10 hats a day every day to you guys. Just take care of you. So that's it for us here today. We'll be back here tomorrow breaking down the play-in games with my Miami Heat beat the Chicago Bulls. Yes, I am fucking going to be playing the Heat. Don't give a fuck. And it's probably not even a smart bet, but I am going to be playing with my heart because I want to see the Heat roll on. I want my season ticket. I want to get the most out of my fucking season tickets. I get the playoffs, and even if it's just that one round, it's one round of fun, one round of excitement. And life, money in life is for memories, right? Like that's the best thing that you can spend your money on. Just, not the jewelry, not the cars, not the women, it's experiences. It's lifelong memories for you and your family, you and your loved ones. That's really, really true what it's all about. Those little experiences. Taking my son to that Miami Grand Prix coming up, whatever the fuck it is, or the Formula One, whatever it is. Tickets cost me like fucking $12,000 per ticket, but my son is heavily into cars, so of course got to take the boy. going to have a lot of fun. But here it is, NBA playoffs. We'll be back here tomorrow, break down the games, tell you who we like, tell you why we like them, hopefully making you guys smarter players along the way. He's Luke Shuey. He's Graham Sheasby. I, of course, am J.A. Cavalier. This is NBA Player Performance. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow. But until then, remember, yesterday's a memory. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. You're here now. You're alive, man. Let's make it count.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. Suffocation, no